exercise questions about 5 main themes. We have location, condition, trends, patterns, and modeling. So for location, we're looking at where is the data located. For conditions, what type of condition is this particular data? What is the specific condition for it? For trends, we're looking at different years. So beginning, let's say, from 2006 versus 2007 to the current year. And how did the data change from these various years? For patterns, we're looking at the distribution of point data. So for example, is it clustered in a certain distribution type like we see here? Or do we see a higher concentration, let's say, of burglaries in downtown LA compared to the San Fernando Valley? And for modeling, we are looking at what could be expected in the future based on the present and past scenario. So GIS focuses on 5 main themes. Also, for the components of GIS, for the components, we're looking at input, storage and retrieving, manipulation and analysis, as well as output. Also, for GIS, it's required to have a hardware, so a PC. Also, it's required to have a software. For ArcGIS, there's many softwares. For example, ArcGIS Pro and ArcGIS Desktop. Also for data, we are analyzing data, and humans are using data to analyze and manipulate in the GIS system. And for organizational protocols, we are organizing and managing data as we do data analysis. So again, we're looking at various types of data such as satellite data, aerial photographs, and digital maps. And within these types of data, it is stored in a hardware. And also, these types of data are stored in a software such as GIS, and it's producing a final map like we see here. Also, each type of data has tabular information associated with it. So again, after this short lecture, I will show you how to find the tabular data for each type of data set or each type of layer on ArcGIS Online. And for GIS hardware, you need to have a PC or a Mac, or you could work at a workstation network. GCC does have a computer lab. And for input, we have a digitizer and typing. And for output, we have printer or plotter. So GIS versus flat maps. So there's a difference between the two. For GIS, it allows for automation and it allows to visualize multiple layers all at once and to do analysis. So again, we have multiple layers here in this map. We have sources of pollution that are represented as black points, and the colored circles show distance from pollution sources. So the colored circles are the red and the orange, as well as the yellow. So again, this is showing us the distance from these black points, the pollution sources. And the wetlands are in dark green. So again, we have many different layers and we can do analysis. So the questions that we want to ask ourselves is, what are the sources of pollution? How are they represented by points? And how far are these sources of pollution from the wetlands? So the type of analysis we can do here is distance analysis to figure out how far or close these wetlands are to these pollution sources. And this is associated with environmental protection management. So these wetlands won't be affected by these sources of pollution. And also, we can look at, well, basically, a flat map, they cannot overlay multiple layers together just like they do in GIS. So in what fields is GIS applied? GIS is applied to a lot of fields. We see that it's applied in urban planning, environmental sciences, political science, business, education administration, real estate, and healthcare. So for example, we have farmland preservation strategies in southeastern Minnesota. GIS can be used for ecological application, like we see here. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has partnered with the GIS team at NASA to collect and display osprey nesting sites, tracking and reproductive data. Also, GIS can be used to look at employment change. In this case, this is in North Denver metro area. And here we have two individual maps of seeing the employment change from 1990 to 2000 and employment change from 2010 to 2020. So this is an example of a trend analysis. Also, GIS can be used for public health, such as breast cancer incidence rates from 1995 to 1999, as well as breast cancer mortality rates from 1996 to 2000. Also, GIS can be used for political campaigns. Here, this is looking at Democratic Party candidates. And again, it is used for a political campaign here on this map. And this is a walk for change on June 9th. And GIS can be used for hydrological analysis and for mineral analysis. So these are the streams, and streams are prioritized for remediation based on different combinations of acidity level and iron concentration. Also, GIS is used for mapping soil surveys like we see here. So GIS has many applications that you can apply it to. GIS is used for crime analysis. Many crime departments have a GIS branch as well. And GIS is used for forestry mapping and for disaster management. And you can apply anything to GIS as long as you have a spatial data set. This is all for the introduction of GIS.